Hey folks, welcome to the View match day preview for the Middlesbrough game. I said I'd try and get something out while I'm away in Seattle, so this is the studio for the next week at least for me. So change the sceneries, but we are going to try and get into this and keep on doing stuff over the course of this week. You obviously saw this week we put out the financial results explained from Kieran Maguire, and who wrote the financial football books as well. So you can check that out on my channel if you want. If you want to get some in-depth understanding of what the Leeds financial results means, you can check that out. But today's all about the match day preview, so we're going to get into this, and we'll start off with some decent news over the weekend. Southampton losing to Cardiff means they're probably out of the race, or at least only have one major area where they can get back into the race, and that will be when they play Leicester in midweek. They will know that if they don't beat Leicester, that is their automatic promotion hopes completely gone. And if they can beat Leicester, it could probably get them back into it to a smaller degree, depending on what happens between Leeds and Ipswich. It could inadvertently help Leeds and Ipswich as well. If Leicester were to lose that game and Leeds and Ipswich were to win the next two games, all of a sudden the automatic spots are still in play for both sides as well as Leicester. It could go all the way down to the final game of this season, but Leeds will still need to go and get their job done, and that's something we haven't done over the past month. These will need to focus, get back to winning ways, and you hope that the break over the last couple of days and the full week off will help Leeds just reassess things, relax, calm down, and ease their way back into the promotion race and refocus their minds on what needs to be done. Just a bit of calm needed. Also boosted by some really good news for Archie Gray winning Young Player of the Year for Leeds, as well as the Young Player of the Year for the EFL. Crescencio Somerville, Championship Player of the Year. Georgie Rudler, Ethan Abadou, and the Championship Team of the Year as well. So just some really good news there. They've got rewards. We could hope that lifts the confidence up a little bit. And you hope the rest for people like Georgie Rudler really helps him to find the form that he had prior to the international break, which has really, really taken the wind out of Leeds' sailed. In terms of the form guide, Leeds 1 win in our last 5 games. No wins in 3, though. 4 points behind Leicester, but the second automatic space is still available. I keep saying this. I watched Max from Leeds Lately's review a few weeks ago, and he made a very good point, made it very clear. Leeds don't have to be better than Leicester and Ipswich. They've only got to be better than one of them. So that's still very much at play with Ipswich having to go to Hull next week as well. So still a lot to play for. We still have hope. I still think the automatics could be done for Leeds. But as I said, we'll need to do our job. So Leicester obviously go top after their win against West Brom. And if Mickey Johnson could finish, that game would have been over inside 20 minutes. 3 fantastic chances for him. Mike Johnson, lovely skill, great player, really, really good player, but should have scored all 3 of the chances that he actually created for himself. So I don't know if you can be critical of the finishing when he's pretty much made the chances for himself. But I know from watching that game and a bit of wasteful finishing, a bit more composure in the last second, and all of a sudden that game could have been very much West Brom's way and not Leicester's to win. From Middlesbrough perspective, 2 wins in their last 5, but they are unbeaten in 9. But as they say, all good runs must come to an end. Ours did, Leicester's did, and Southampton's did. Let's hope Middlesbrough's current little streak comes to an end. Middlesbrough are a very streaky team, have been all season. They've gone these long runs of unbeaten streaks and then have these other little runs of losing games back to back. And hopefully that will help Leeds going into the game on Monday. However, from an overall perspective, you're going to look at it this way. Leicester beat Cardiff today and go back top of the league, but they do have to go and play Southampton in midweek, and that could be a massive, massive game for everyone with a handful of matches left to play. A defeat for Leicester could really dent the confidence. Even in the West Brom win, they were fantastic in that game. So they're not the side that they were early on in the season, nor are any of the top 3 sides at this point either. Ipswich will not play again until next Saturday, which means Leeds and Leicester will have had 2 games played in the same space of time between Ipswich's last 2 games. So they travel to play Hull, which won't be an easy game by any stretch of the imagination. Hull have been a decent side this season. It could cause them problems, especially at home. Leeds have this game against Middlesbrough on Monday and then again on Friday against QPR. So that game was rearranged by Sky for TV. So there is a possibility that if everything goes Leeds' way and they are to pick up 2 wins in the next 2 games, Leeds could be 4 points clear of Ipswich in second place before Ipswich kick a ball next weekend. And that, from a psychological perspective, could put pressure on Ipswich as it gets really close to the end of this season. Number 1 game left for Leeds in that game against Southampton. Fortunately, I was trying for 2 days. I didn't get a ticket, which I'm really annoyed at. Still going to the game, trying to get a ticket when I get over there, figure something out. But disappointed. I know a lot of people really struggle to get tickets for this game. It was a tough one. Had a seat, had the map open, the seat was there, selected the seat, error message, what was rain, lost the seat, got kicked out of the queue. another person trying to get me ticket as well on my login, and they had the exact same problem. So not the big we'll figure that out when we get to it. We're going to move on and get into the team news now. Leeds will be without Connor Roberts, which is a shame because I think Connor Roberts starting to right back at this game would have given Leeds more options in Central Park, moving Archie Gray in there and giving Leeds a little more attacking prowess from the middle of the park. That won't be the case unless Daniel Farke decides to play Sam Byram at right back, Junior Ferbo at left back, and that could then free him up to put Archie Gray into the middle of the park. However, given recent performances, I expect Daniel Farke to be a little more conservative in the middle of the park. I think Archie Gray will go in at right back and Glenn Kamara will come into the centre of the park again. And just to shield that back four again, we agree in the middle of the pitch. I personally would rather see Sam Byram come in at right back and Archie Gray go into centre midfield. They need a bit more energy, a bit more spark, and we'll get to that when we're talking about the number 9 positions. Jamie Shackleton was being assessed on Friday, was back in team training, but is still a major doubt for the game at the weekend. So he probably won't play in any of the fullback positions, might make the bench if he's lucky, but Shax has had a really tough season with illness and injury all year. Every time I look, it's a possibility of him getting into the team. He's either been injured or ill this year, and he is out of contract in the summer as well. Daniel Farke spoke before about doing the right thing by Jamie Shackleton, but what that means, what it looks like towards the end of the season remains to be seen. Leeds obviously without Stuart Dallas, who's now retired, Pascal Stroke, who's out long-term injury as well, and the big miss of Connor Roberts. For me, it's a big miss. The energy of Connor Roberts, and also the leadership he brings to the team. He was clearly pointed out on camera against Sunderland and Coventry, barking orders at Leeds players and talking to them on a regular basis, and that's needed. Leeds need leadership. It's an incredibly young side, second youngest side in the entire division, so Leeds do need that. From a Middlesbrough perspective, they're missing a host of players, but they've got a couple of returns to rattle through them. Marcus Forrest is out with a hamstring injury. Riley McGree is out with a foot injury. Tommy Smith will miss out on the game with an Achilles problem, as will Darrell Lennon, who's out after having ankle surgery. Luke Ayling and Sam Greenwood cannot play against their parents' club. That's a big loss for them. Sam Greenwood, not so much. He hasn't started a huge amount of games in the last couple of months. The odd one or two here and there, but has been used as a regular player from the bench. That option been removed for them completely now. They do have Tom Glover, the goalkeeper, who's out with a slight finger injury, could make a return for this game, but is a doubt. Long-term injuries, Hayden Hackney, Josh Coburn, and Darryl Fry are all missing long-term most of the season. And Paddy McNary, who has missed the bulk of the season, is expected to return for this game, as is Alex Bangara, who'll come back after being out for a couple of weeks. And Raul van der Berg is back after missing out on their last 3 games. So a lot of players out for Middlesbrough, but a lot of them have been out long-term. Luke Ayling has been very good for them, supplying an awful lot of assists for Latila recently. He's going to miss out on that. As I said, Sam Greenwood's option off the bench removed from them as well. So it kind of upsets their game plan a little bit and how they've been going through the season, especially in the last couple of months. So hopefully that'll play into Leeds' hands. Leeds will need to be on the front foot in this game. They'll need to be going forward and they'll need to move things around. They can't be over-reliant on Crescentia Somerville. We've seen this over-reliance in moving the ball to the left-hand side of the park on a regular basis. Leeds will need to use both sides. Who plays on the right-hand side remains to be seen. Away from home, Willie Gnonto has been the better between Dan James and Willie Gnonto. Look at the goals for Willie Gnonto scored 1 goal at Ellen Road. The bulk of his goals this season have come away from home. Dan James, on the other hand, the bulk of his goals have come at home and not away from home. Depending on the game goes, Dan James coming off the bench with a bit of energy when the game gets a bit stretched might suit Leeds better. I'm a big Dan James fan. Haven't hidden that at all season. I'd like to see him play. I'd like to see Willie Gnonto play as a number 10, but I'm not going to get what I want. And for the number 9 position, this is the interesting one to talk about. These haven't won the last 2. They tried Joe Perreault up front, which really didn't really work against Sunderland at all. Yes, he got a goal against Coventry. Should have arguably got 2. Doesn't score against Sunderland. Leeds don't get the result that they want in that game. It's very likely for me that Patrick Bamford comes back in up top of what Leeds do at the number 10 positions to the remainder. Virginia Rudder has been off form since having the surgery during the international break. We haven't seen the same player. The break over the last week might help him, might see a return to form. For me, I think the biggest conversation is around who plays up front. If Leeds want to put some energy and I suppose change the point of attack a little bit, there is a huge argument for starting Mateo Joseph in this game. Daniel Farke tends to lean more towards the obvious option, which will be bringing Patrick Bamford back in after a little bit more rest. If you look at Leeds' run, there's lots of people who don't rate Patrick Bamford and want him to decide, but if you look at Leeds' best run this season, it does coincide with Patrick Bamford coming into the team. We do know that Patrick Bamford can be quite a streaky player and goals, again, similar to Middlesbrough actually, goes on these runs of scoring goals in a row and then these barren spells. A lot of strikers do. But if you want to have, I suppose, more energy in the team, a bit more dynamism possibly in the team, then Mateo Joseph will give you that up front. And at this point of the season, there is still the risk of a gamble. For me, if you look at the last game against Blackburn, Leeds making the mistake of taking off the Groove and going gung-ho, lost. It might be in lost Leeds United a point in that game. And given that game was going, might not have been the best result in the world, but 1 point might end up being a big deal come the end of this season. So a lot of people want Mateo Joseph. I agree with what the Square Ball said this week. It's still a huge gamble. You don't know how the player will react in this situation, this environment, that amount of pressure on his shoulders. He could be fine. He could be absolutely brilliant in the game, but he might not. And that unknown quantity is a problem. Patrick Bamford's form as well. Will you get the best out of him in this game? Again, you don't really know until you go and play the match and see how he gets on. But I think it's clear Joe Pirro won't start in the number 9 position. Second big position to talk about is the number 10 role. Will Leeds go down the route of sticking with Jorginho Rudiger in there? For me, Willie Gnonto, and I know there's a lot of people have been saying this year as well. Playing Willie Gnonto as number 10 for me makes perfect sense. He's the kind of player who fits that system, or fits that role, I should say. He's low centre of gravity, can beat players, is very quick at moving the ball, and isn't afraid to shoot left foot or right foot. And against Blackburn, we saw he was one of the few players that was trying to get shots on target distance. He also has an eye for a pass. He can be quite cute in the last third of the pitch and can find those little gaps for threaded balls through the strikers and might suit them perfectly. And he's been persistent with a wide position. I think you could get more out of Dan James in the wing, Willie Gnonto in the 10, Chris Arnold on the first side, and change up that attack a little bit and surprise Middlesbrough a little bit what Leeds could bring to the table. But it's a big one. I'd love to know people's opinions. I get it. I know Patrick Bamford probably got to play. I'm leaning far more to the side of Mateo Joseph at this point, just from an energy perspective, not from the fact of do something different, because I think Patrick Bamford during that run of games at Leeds won was very important to that. And we wouldn't have got those wins possibly without him in the team. But given where we are at this stage, bit of a Hail Mary, but Mateo Joseph, when he has been handed the ball, has been able to run with it. He has shown a maturity for me. He can hold the ball up very, very well. He is a very good finisher, and he's busy and he's active. Now, what should be said in context is seeing a player come on for 25 minutes and run around an awful lot and do the pressing at high tempo and high pace is one thing. Asking him to do that for 90 minutes is very different. You might not see the same energy levels as quickly or as for a lot in a period in a 90-minute game. The player himself will have to manage that over a longer period of time. Won't be able to sprint around knowing he's only got 20 minutes before the game is over. He'll have to pace that a bit more and spread that out. So you might not see the overly energetic pressing that we get from Mateo Joseph in the cameos that he makes for Leeds. But from a finishing perspective, and against Chelsea, I thought he was very, very good at holding the ball. If his could play is good, that's what you get with Patrick Bamford. You don't get that with Joe Pirro. You do get that with Mateo Joseph as well. And he's a young player who's keen to prove himself and show what he can do. So from that perspective, there's a really strong shout from Mateo Joseph. Look at how people's team selections are. Stick in the chat. Let me know what you think the team will be or what you'd like to see the team be. But there is this position, I suppose, of the team we'd like to see play and a team that we probably know the kind of Farke will play. I mean, he might like to see play as Sam Boyer right back, Archie Gray in midfield with E.A. Grua, Willie Gnonto on the 10, and Mateo Joseph up front, Dan James on the right, Chris Arnold on the left, Firpo left back, centre back stay the same. That's what I'd like to see. The reality is it'll probably be Archie Gray right back, Firpo and left back to centre backs the same as have been. Midfield of Glenn Kamara and E.A. Grua, Willie Gnonto on the right, Georgie Rudiger on the 10, Pat Bamford at the top, and Chris Somerville on the left. It's more than likely what we're going to see. So what we want and what we get are all two different things. But I'll let me know in the chat what you think the team will be. But I think we're all on the same perspective. We're all going to the same perspective of we know what we want, but we also know what we're probably going to get in this game as well. Ben de Bracken would not want to lose this game as well as wanting to win the game. But for me, 3 games to go, Leeds need 9 points. I think we'll get 7 from the next 3. I think 7 might just be enough. Leeds will want 9. They want to finish the season on a high. Remove any option of the playoffs completely. I think it might become available for the game against Southampton should Leeds not get the result. So that'll be interesting to see. And then from a statistics perspective, it wouldn't be a match day preview without stats. We don't have them here physically today, but Middlesbrough have lost 3 league meetings against Leeds United and will be hoping to avoid 4 in a row for the very first time coming into this game. Leeds have won 1 of their last 4 away games at Middlesbrough, drawing 1 and losing 2. The last win for Leeds came in 2020 in the Riverside Stadium, a 1-0 win in that game. Middlesbrough only won 2 of their last 10 home games against sides from Yorkshire, so we can hope that plays to our strengths. Leeds have lost on 1 of their last 8 away games, winning 5 and drawing 2. 5 clean sheets in that process as well. That will be massive. Obviously losing the Coventry in the last game out, but keeping a clean sheet will be a massive thing for Leeds to do. the basis of every win. Start with a clean sheet, you at least pick up some points, and then go for a win when you can. And Georgina Rudder has 6 assists away from home this season. Only 2 players have done better than him, and that is Keenan Dewsbury Hall and Patois, both Leicester City players. So it's a decent position to be in. You hope his confidence has been lifted this week after being named in the EFL team of the season. Fingers crossed that does happen. We see a more confident, energetic Leeds team coming out. And again, agreeing with Squareball on this. I think the fact that Leeds will be away from home might take some of the pressure off that didn't play into our hands in the last 2 home games in Ellen Road. Let me know what you think. Score predictions, team predictions, let me know in the comments. And as always, thanks for supporting the channel. I'll be back on Monday for some Leeds news, and we get ready for the match against Middlesbrough on Monday night. Fingers crossed things go our way. Have a great weekend. Talk to you then. See you.